Hey Virgo, as Germans say, sugar comes to last, which means sugar comes last. And you're the last sign I'm reading this time around. I did previously all the monthly readings and all of them vanished, and that's Mercury retrograde. And that's something that you probably really connect very well, given that Mercury rules your sign. So let's see what's going to be coming up this month. I'm going to shuffle the readings a little bit. First, I'm going to do the general kind of like flavor, and then we are going to go in granular details to see a little bit more. Guys, if you are new here, my name is Kat and welcome to Kat Tarot. If you are not new, welcome. Guys, just make sure that you put this notification when you subscribe, because then you get when I have these new videos released, or that you're on my newsletter list, and that way you kind of like get email reminder. You can just click on your sign. Also, check your ascendant, check your moon sign. In addition to your sun sign, you get more messages. This is especially a message for the newbies, because to expect that this is just catered for you, just a little too much to ask, right? So you really need to go in a direction that you understand when you get a message, and that message really resonates. Oh my God, that is somebody who has said it to you. So they found you. So you need to subscribe in order to allow those messages to come and flow more. Otherwise, you keep shifting and they actually start being very random here and there. Anyway, let's start. Virgo. Oh, there we go. We have iceberg, submerged. Interesting. And let's just get some general information over here for Virgo. And this one wants to come out. Oh, you have Sky Kitten. Sky Kitten can be somebody who is really in your face. Look, he's just looking all the way up. He's kind of like not realizing he's going to be squishing this pretty little kind of like flower over here. Which one? I think this one might to come out. Then you have a 2 of Sky. And this one. Then you have a 4 of Sky. Sky and Sky and Sky. And this one might to come. And it's the World. Interestingly enough, you'll be a lot in your thoughts this month. This is a karma card. This is like something that is really happening. Something is really approaching the apex, if you wish. This is kind of like when some structures are being built or positioned. But it's coming with lots of confusion over here. Sky Kitten is seeking answers. It's very, very kind of like striving to be a perfectionist, and that basically gets this person in trouble, because this person is really harsh on themselves, but they're also harsh on the others, and that can really cost. That can have a cost of friendships, that can have a cost of relationships. This might be you, but this actually can, and for some reason I feel is somebody else, because I'm seeing like this is kind of like these 2 cards are facing each other. So almost like there is something brewing between the 2nd and the 11th of the month, and there's like something that needs to be addressed around the middle of the month, where some people who are lucky will celebrate Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day to everybody, and especially to those of you who are seeking for new love. But most of you are going to just feel tired and exhausted, right? So the entire summary of these cards is 9, and 9th card in tarot is Hermit, and Hermit, it represents you, Virgo. It shows this wise man meandering the mountain, and he's holding a lantern that has a star inside. So he's actually looking and seeking the truth. Not the truth that somebody serves on you and said this is the way it is, but something that you feel, something that you're really, really connected to. Interestingly enough that you got this iceberg and submerged, because this is kind of like talking about this global kind of like weather shift, but in this particular case, it's saying that simply up to 90% of an iceberg's body is below the surface. And we see many of those memes, right, on the internet. So it's kind of like a grandmother ocean or grandfather ocean. I don't know like which gender I really want to put on it yet. Always there is kind of like momentum that is really having, right? So glacier is broken from So iceberg is something that breaks off from glacier, right, or ice shelf, and they kind of like float along the sea. And so it's really kind of like detriment to the vessels that attempt to kind of like go through those passages, right? So most of us heard stories about ill-fated ships that maybe had tragic encounters, sunk low, Titanic kind of a thing, right? So this really tells me that whether you suppress or deny kind of like some conscious awareness, because you have the hermit here, so hermit is pulling it in, then you have iceberg here, iceberg is pulling it in. So at one time you put some stuff out of your conscious for a reason. That happens when we are survivor of rape, of abuse, of parental neglect, of self-neglect, and in order to survive we put our big pants on and we move on one step at a time, and we feel the best way to move forward is not to look about everything that has happened. We just move forward. But now, you know, these submerged aspects of yourself are projected onto others, so they kind of like mirror to you those denied or suppressed kind of like feelings. So you're meeting people that come your path that maybe you resent, maybe dislike, maybe you think they're freaking weirdos, but they kind of like suppress something that you needed to deal with, right? And you might even very, very harshly judge these characteristics when they're exhibited. That's kind of like in psychology called shadow, right? It's telling us that sometimes that we hate in somebody else is almost like a fear that we will become, that there is like something brewing. So now it is the time for you to allow these elements to surface. You even need to embrace them, no matter how prickly they are, no matter how ugly they are. This is just something that kind of like belongs, right? So these may kind of like make up some sort of a self-expression and possibly a secret dream that you wish to accomplish, or even like the uglier aspects, you know, that maybe are difficult to acknowledge and difficult to accept. Maybe you just need to cry your eyes out and just be on your own and release. Punch the pillows if you're angry, if somebody just didn't allow you, didn't love you, didn't kind of like be there for you. That really kind of like feels very, very important, because this is now your opportunity to pay attention to those things and welcome them to the family that is really called you. So instead of like being disjointed and some things kind of like in the prison, you're just going to create and say, no, everybody is treated equally, kind of a thing. So let's see more, because now this is getting interesting. And you're also getting the world, which means you actually successfully resolve those issues, even if they resurface. I mean, this is also talking about the fixed signs. So maybe you have Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, or Leo that you're dealing with, that you need to resolve some issues, or maybe you have those signs inside of you, right? Check your natal chart and then you'll see which are dominant planets, because even though we have a sun sign, one planet, like we have many planets inside of us, we are a combination of kind of like quite a few different things, right? Because the solar system affects us, every single one. So let's see in which sign they appear and which sign they're really calling for, right? Okay, so Virgo, let's kind of like go to the part number 2. And you already got something, and you're getting the 7 of C reversed, which really tells me that you're tired of daydreaming. You kind of like find this counterproductive. You want something really pragmatic. You don't want pie in the sky. You're tired of promises. It looks like somebody was giving you promises, or maybe everybody got tired. 7 and 4, there's like a healing energy that needs to happen. It's again going back to that hermit of yours. There is like some strength that you have that you need to exercise, and you know that you're strong, but you also felt very lethargic. Maybe you didn't really want to move into the action. This is a time to, maybe you were even bored, I would say, and boredom to you, it's almost like feels like disease. It's not a natural thing. Like, this is such a short life we live, so when you're bored or depressed, it just like steals days from us, right? Whoa, you have a whole range of negatives. Maybe you even dealt with people who are juggling situations, or maybe you have been juggling too many things on your plate. You're always the responsible one. You always kind of like want to deal with the situation and address the situation, and this is actually really helping over here. And then you have 8 of C. It's also reversed. Maybe there was a need, maybe you walked away from something, or somebody walked away from something, and you were wondering about returning back. Maybe you even did return back, and then it just like still continued to be the same mess or the same disaster. And the Fire Queen, you just cannot energize yourself. You just cannot motivate yourself. It almost like sounds to me, everything that I see here, you're trying to find again outside. You're just going outside of your center. The things are inside. They need to kind of like be dealt with. And you have a Sky Tome over here. There you had like, I mean, Page of Swords. Now you have a Knight of Swords. It's reversed, which means you did not at present time set proper goals for yourself. These goals are just in a very kind of like self-oriented fashion. Nothing wrong about being self-oriented. We need to look after number one. I get that, right? Ooh, and you have the Hierophant. But it almost looks to me that this also could mean somebody else's goals. So somebody else's goals are more important than yours, or at least that's how they are presenting them to you. And the praise that you have over here, like you're maybe craving something unconventional, something easier, something without huge constraints and whole bunch of sets of rules. Everything here tells me that you feel there's like almost like this sense of constraint. There is a sense of some quote-unquote imprisonment. Let's see your environment. You have Demon Cat in your environment. Wow, these two guys, and look, it's kind of like almost like the Ra and Seth kind of like fight that happen daily. This is really telling me that you have negative people in your environment. So no wonder this kind of like really affected you, especially with Mercury retrograde. Even things that you thought you have resolved, they're kind of coming back in the surface. Keep in mind that this month on February 27th, we have full moon in Virgo. And that full moon is going to be really beneficial for you. You need to let go of certain stuff. Just write a list and just come out in the full moon and just simply burn it. The things that you're getting rid of. I am getting rid of universe, God, angel, whatever it is that you want to connect with. Mother, if you lost it, because they are always there watching for you. Like, I am kind of giving this in your hands. Please take this burden away from me. I need help resolving things. I want to have more productive life. You sit this in full moonlight and light this paper and make it burn. Don't make a copy of it, because it means you did nothing. You just need to release it entirely, right? This talks to me that could be the exes coming back in your life. This talks to me that could be people who are very selfish, possibly narcissistic, or people who have only intentions to serve themselves. So be very careful about that. So your hopes and dreams over here. Whoa, you have 2 of Cups. So this is about romantic relationships. This is about partnerships. It could be somebody who came back and it didn't work, and now maybe you actually really want it to work, but you're also fearing it won't work at the same time. And ultimately, you have 9 of Cups. Your wishes are coming through. And I really like this. I just finished Gemini reading, which was penultimate. You're the ultimate. Both of you are having Mercury as ruler. So that was really interesting that you have been tacked all the way to the back. And it was kind of like with them, it was the advice, just jumping the gun. You're just moving too fast. With you, I see that whenever something moves fast, you get really irritated with this. You really want to have your time to study the person, to look into the person, to see what they're all about. I'm going to clarify the devil, and actually I have to have 2 clarifiers here, because they have very opposing forces, because the priest is like that moral kind of like thing, but it's reversed. So it's maybe your sense of morality is not necessarily what is the traditional sense of morality, right? So what is traditional sense of morality? You need to get married. I mean, most of us just violate majority of it anyway. Kind of sex outside of marriage, oh come on, kind of a thing. Of course, kind of a thing. But to me, like, it's also very unconventional card where you're trying to find your own path, what really works for you. But this is really interesting because this card also kind of connects with a sense of unity and yoga, and I don't know really if that any kind of like has any meaning to you, but there's also kind of like telling you you kind of like need to find your own path over here. So let me see what is coming for the priest, widower. Yeah, the conventional stuff are coming to an end. And let me see for demon cat over here. Let's see, demon cat is wedding. This is interesting because that's a wedding card, and the opposite is, okay, well, just live together, let's not do something kind of like that serious. You can also talk about contracts, you can talk about kind of like different things. So widower, this could also literally mean that you are going to meet a widower. There is somebody who is coming out of relationship in quote-unquote unconventional way, which is a death of a spouse. So it's somebody who is mourning or loss, that's experiencing loss or possibly even regrets. But it also can actually really talk about a person who is still carrying that, what they call it, chip on the shoulder, right? A baggage. Somebody who needs to accept the situation as over, right? So this here, because it's earth card, connects to your own sign. You can talk about there is like possibly some kind of like widowhood or loneliness or ruptured relationships, maybe kind of like you're unable to deal with the consequences, either your partner's actions or something that you're connected to, like in a business world, right? At work, it could be loss of a job, or again, there are like some actions that are basically taken that are outside of your control. Could be accident of some sort, right? Especially with this Sky Tom, who is just driving the car in the ditch kind of a thing, and you have to really watch this, especially during Mercury retrograde. By the way, it's going to finish on the 20th, not before the big freaking bang, and the big freaking bang is going to happen on the 17th, and that's when Saturn squares Uranus, and like it's just what can go wrong. You put a freaking python and a tiger in the same room, it's going to be bloody, that's for freaking sure. One wants authority and tradition, just like this one, except Saturn is basically shown with the devil over here. And another one wants to be free, want to be child, the flower child, and wants to take the government down kind of a thing, right? It's kind of like really weird, right? So whatever happened in your life that you feel that you needed to bury it and submerge and put this like adult phase and to move on, it worked at that time. Maybe you're telling yourself this is the solution, but you're not a fixed sign. You kind of like your solutions can always change, right? So you need to realize that maybe at this time in your life you can kind of like go in a different direction. So accept whatever happened, wherever the loss happened, wherever was not given to you as permanent loss, and work toward moving forward and rather than dwelling on the past. Because interestingly enough, here you also have this coming from your environment. You have the demon cat, and I told you this really talks about possibly, the third party people, some people from the past re-emerging, and I see this twice over here. It can talk about reunions, right? It's some kind of like important event. It could be literally February 14th, Valentine's Day, somebody's asking you out. But is this person really free? Like, because I can see some love letters, I can see some love expression, I can see possibly loss of independence over here, guys, right? So there are going to be some kind of meetings. This can also indicate love at first sight, guys. And then you realize, holy smoke, this person is a drug addict, or oh my god, like this person is going to drain me financially because he or she immediately accepts all your money and all this, oh, this is mine too. kind of like it can be something with it that kind of like they carry inside of them something that needs to be fixed. Let me put it this way, right? You're usually a healer. You usually kind of like carry that health note as part of your kind of like horoscope sign. So check your ascendant and check your moon sign. That's going to kind of like help you give a little bit more. So almost looks to me that you're on the brink of making some big decisions over here. And in order to make these big decisions, you need to kind of like submerge yourself. Maybe that even means separate yourself from the others. Remove the people from your life who are not beneficial. You will be doing one task after another in a very pragmatic way. And whenever somebody tries to move very fast, it's almost like it's not going to work. It's not going to go in a good direction. So trying to cheer yourself up, trying to force yourself again to go on the outside, it's just not going to do it anymore. You guys have to really tap into what is it that you have lost. What is it that you really wanted badly at some point and you just had to give up on it. So something is still bothering you, or it's hurting you, or it's just like buried. Well, unbury it, give it your thanks, give it your kisses, give it your love, and you will able to be yourself, and you'll be able to be set free. So my guys, you know that I love you. And so as I told you, just make sure you check your ascendant, check your moon sign, and check your sun sign. I guys also do daily tarot. You can check it on my Instagram and on my Facebook. I also do weeklies, but I do it live. So every Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, join me. So for that, you have to be subscribed and put on this bell. So that way you get notification, because I send exact link. And that definitely is going to help you. If you're a subscriber, please also check if you have that bell on, because YouTube really did a number on me and a whole bunch of smaller channels, and I would appreciate if you spend a minute and check it. So this is it from me, guys. If you want a reading from me and you want more detailed things and just kind of like go down to really granular details, but this is then just all about you, not just generic messages, contact me via cattarot.ca. And you can check my website, but also down in the description it's my email. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you. If you don't want to leave your comment publicly, just send it to me via email, or maybe publicly just want to leave a question. Like, live sessions are actually really fun, because then every sign kind of like carry the message for you because you're present. So the spirit guides are not waiting for your particular sign to come through. Also, there are 2 segments where you can actually ask your questions, and then you energetically connect with the card that would be the most appropriate to the solution. So my dear Virgo, make sure that you prepare yourself for this full moon in Virgo. It's going to happen after the 20th. The Mercury retrograde is over. It's going to be a big lift off. Up to this point, it looks to me you're going to be more subdued. You're going to be studying people, and maybe even, you know, being with people who drive crazily. So be careful about that. So other than that, it's going to resolve after that. Okay, he just scared me. That's my dog probably barking at another dog through the window. So my dear Virgo, looking forward to hearing from you. I love you, and have a very happy Valentine's Day. Do not get married. Give it a little bit more time to see what is this all about. Love you. All the best.